Animatronics, nightmares, and a lot of anxiety. We have a good one today, folks, honestly.
Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Here are the Top 10 FNAF Urban Legends.
Kicking off the list at number 10, Origins. Since the game's original launch back in 2014, the internet has been buzzing with urban legends surrounding Five Nights at Freddy's. Creepy animatronics plus the hope we all once had in 2014, yeah, it was only fair these urban legends would arise. One of the first was centered around the game's origins. Dark origins, that is, of course. Back in 1993, an ex-employee of Chuck E. Cheese, of all places, in Colorado, his name was Nathan, he snuck into the building and attacked his old co-workers, to say the least. It was actually a really bad scenario. One of the co-workers testified, Nathan went to prison, all that good stuff, but some folk believe that this is where Five Nights at Freddy's got its inspiration from, this horrible, dark event. In 2014, things got real when the game theorist posted a Five Nights at Freddy's theory on YouTube, connecting that 1993 event to the premise of the game. And everyone's kind of like, oh yeah, that is awfully close, isn't it? That was just scratching the surface. That's why we got Connor from Top 10 Gaming today. He's ready to really dive in. Let's do it.
In at 9, 666 Custom Night. In the good old days, where all we figured was that we were a criminal stuck in purgatory, we thought that all the secrets of FNAF could be solved using the game's Custom Night, where you'd set the characters to specific levels and see if you could make it through. However, one such suggestion, the 666 suggestion, was in fact not the case. By setting the latter 3 animatronics to level 6, it was rumored that the kitchen camera would be unlocked and you'd have audio as well as visual for this night. But that turned out to simply not be the case, because, well, if you look at the game files, there is no visual for the kitchen camera, meaning that no matter what, unless you added a version of it yourself, there would be no way to unlock that camera. And this wasn't the only time we'd end up getting trolled by the FNAF 1 Custom Night, but more on that kerfuffle later on. Fun fact, kerfuffle was actually what I named my first Club Penguin puffle.
Number 8, Freddy's face. I grew up with a different Freddy. His facial features were haunting to look at. They made so many Nightmare on Elm Street movies that I could see Freddy's face every time I went to sleep, even when I didn't try to, you know? Sometimes you see something for so long and then you notice an obvious detail much later on. Like the handprint on Freddy's face, for example, in Five Nights at Freddy. Yeah, it's something I've never noticed before, but as soon as it was pointed out, now I can't unsee it. Many believe this handprint is left over from the many, many times Freddy has tried to rip off his own head, which we see posters of throughout the game, so yeah, could be. Also, that many attempts, it's clear Freddy is right-handed. My guy. Hit that right-handed thumbs up for Freddy.
In at 7, Tater the Waiter Gator. Tater the Waiter Gator was a fan-made character that was just made for fun. However, a fake Scott on Twitter that also did a whole other fake FNAF thing took the model onto Twitter claiming that they were a new animatronic. This guy was a real menace back in the day. Holy damn. And while it was indeed a joke, the appearance of an alligator face in FNAF 3's Happiest Day minigame made people reconsider the canonicity of Tater the Waiter Gator. And yes, I'm saying his full name because it's fun. But he isn't and was never canon, with the alligator character getting explained away with Montgomery Gator, who luckily is not a waiter. He's a golfer and apparently an assassin. We better get to solve the whole did Monty kill Bonnie thing in the DLC for Security Breach if there is one, or else I'm actually going to destroy my green room. Okay, like maybe I won't, but I'll definitely be disappointed, okay, in the quality of the FNAF DLCs that we got. There's like a multiplayer mode mod, so like you might as well add it officially, so like, you know, it's not absolute garbage.
Number 6, Sparky the Dog. Yeah, sounds cute at first, but don't let that name fool you. He's of course haunting to look at. He's also an animatronic, and yeah, he's gonna be a hard time, regardless, in this game. Everything is. Sparky the Dog, luckily, is all bark and no bite. Apparently. When the game was still pretty fresh, in the early development days that is, a rumor began to buzz around. Apparently a 6th animatronic would make an appearance at the odd time. How fun is that? We love cameos. If Sparky did appear, it would be pretty obvious. He's a one-armed dog wearing overalls. The good news, after what I just said is pretty terrifying, the good news, as I said earlier, is this guy will not attack you. He'll just stand and watch you for a bit, which I feel like is almost worse. That's worse, that's definitely worse. Screenshots hit the web and the rest is still up for debate. Have you seen Sparky the one-armed animatronic demon dog? Yep, keep an eye out on that backstage doorway, my friends.
Halfway through in at number 5, Mrs. Afton's death. The story of Mrs. Afton, if there even is one, is a mystery that we've been debating for ages. A story that hasn't even had a slight amount of explanation. No references, no mention of a name, nothing. So naturally there are theories and there are urban legends. However, these have no base in the actual game lore and instead focus on FNAF fan animated music videos and stories that are treated as canon, and sometimes heavily so. The truth is that we have no idea what happened to Mrs. Afton currently, okay? We don't know if there even was a Mrs. Afton, or maybe it was just a baby mama. Or maybe William had a surrogate so he could have his children on his own. Or like maybe he even like adopted his kids, or even stole them, which is a whole other can of worms. Either way, for some reason, and I don't know what video really caused this to pick up, I think it was something by the Living Tombstones, a load of people think that Mrs. Afton died in a car accident. I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but that doesn't mean that it's canon. There are also others that think that William killed her, or that she just left him because she found out that he was into killing people, but then for some reason she left his prime demographic with him. Others also think that her leaving him was the reason he started killing, and others think that she died in a plane crash, which is kind of out of nowhere. All are equally possible, but nothing is actually like real, okay? So stop.
Number 4, Bunnyman Urban Legend. I play video games to disconnect from reality. When I play Superhot on VR, I know I can't do that in real life. That's why I enjoy it. But when scary games like Five Nights at Freddy's are all of a sudden connected to real life horrible events, well, it's not so easy to unplug anymore, is it? You get a bit more attached to the game, and when it's a horror game, that's not something you want. Vanny is a follower of Glitch Trap, of course. She's the main villain in Five Nights Security Breach, and players have noticed something similar about the game's protagonist, something very real from the 70s. The Bunnyman. Yeah, does it sound familiar to you? Hopefully not, fingers crossed. In Fairfax County, Virginia, back in the late 70s, residents would report sightings of a Bunnyman. Yeah, he would just run around and terrorize locals. They say the Bunnyman disappeared in the early 80s, but maybe they're just disguised right now as an animatronic. Who knows? Maybe the Bunnyman is still out there. That's a haunting thing. You thought you had the Sunday scaries before. Well, good luck sleeping tonight. There you go.
Getting close to the end. In at number 3, Purple Guy Animatronic. The Purple Guy Animatronic is an urban legend revolving around the 2014 version of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, not like any of the newer ones for the Switch or for anything like that. In early 2015, a YouTube video surfaced that reportedly showed a hidden animatronic reported to be the Purple Guy, the main antagonist of the franchise. The appearance of the purple animatronic was preceded by phone ringing, and then after the phone rang, the purple animatronic briefly flashed on screen, slumped over and against the wall of the office in a similar style to Golden Freddy. However, it was soon revealed that the animatronic was simply a photoshopped image of Golden Freddy with a purple color scheme and Chica's head. I think it was pretty obvious that it was photoshopped at the time, and I mean, like, we've used the image in thumbnails on gaming a couple times, but the character never actually showed up in any of the games. Plus, if there was a Purple Guy animatronic, it wouldn't have been reused assets. Like, come on, people. I know it was 2015, but still.
Number 2. It was all a dream. What is seen in the shadows is easily misunderstood. Those words are from the developer himself, Scott Cawthon, where he's also said before this line, 4 games, 1 story. How can this be? How can players, we've been talking about this and scratching our heads for a long time. How can this be one linear story? Could it all be a dream? That would be the only way it can make sense, right? The online community believes so. Apparently Five Nights is a terrifying nightmare, one long, vivid dream after a victim got bit by an animatronic back in 1983. Fans believe the bite played out a lot differently than it did in the game series, so does that mean the 4th game is the only one with an actual story? A real story? If that's the case, what else is a dream? Am I dreaming right now? Why is Chris an alligator?
And finally, in at number 1, the 2-eye theory. The 2-eye theory states that in the FNAF 3 bad ending, there are 2 eyes lit up in the animatronic head in the back, which we assume to be Golden Freddy, to show that there were 2 souls inside the animatronic. This isn't the case, people, and I will tell you why. Firstly, it would be more difficult to tell that it was an animatronic head if only 1 eye was lit, since all we see from this head are the eyes. And it could very well just be a reflection from the first light in the other eye, since, you know, it's so dark and that's how light works. Notice how Freddy also has light coming out of his other eye. Secondly, Crying Child wasn't introduced yet, not coming until the next game that wasn't even going to happen originally until the community was disappointed with the Springtrap jump scare, since this was supposed to be the bed of the series. That's why we released the Souls and the Happiest Day minigame. Also notice that only 1 person wears the Golden Freddy mask in that minigame. And according to the official Freddy Files Updated Edition book, that's right, I'm talking about a book here, quote, you'll see an image of broken animatronic heads, each with a lit eye, meaning that the Golden Freddy head in the back only has 1 eye lit, because that's how grammar works. And considering how this is the official guidebook to the series, we kinda gotta take it as law.
And that is all the time we have for today. Special thanks to Top 10 Gaming for coming out and making me look like I don't know what I'm talking about.
We talk about FNAF way too much, so if you're into FNAF, come say hi.
There you go. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters.
And I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe. And we'll see you in another video. Maybe. Well, you will.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, let's do it.